What up, everybody? Welcome to the Dragon Ball Version podcast. I'm your host, Gozen. There's your host, Ray, the anime and Dragon Ball Virgin. What up, Ray?
What up, everyone?
And lastly, my brother Animac is joining us to discuss his favorite Dragon Ball Z moment ever, and he's gonna bring nostalgia into the mix. What up, Animac?
Yo, happy to be here for the first time on the Dragon Ball Virgin. Let's do this.
Yes, so me, Gozen, and Animac, you can find us on AnimeUproar, the YouTube and Twitch channel. So check us out there. Today we are discussing episodes 90 to 107, or chapters 118 to 135, where Goku goes Super Saiyan, the end of the Namek saga. And then next episode of the Dragon Ball Virgin, we're covering episodes 108 to 125 of the anime, including the Garlic Jr. and Trunks sagas, or chapters 136 to 142 of the manga, which is very few because, as you know, Garlic Jr. wasn't actually in the manga. Plus, we're going to be talking about the fifth Dragon Ball Z movie, Cooler's Revenge, which I'm hyped because Cooler is... I'm not going to spoil, Ray, but you guys know who Cooler is and how he relates to what we just watched, so super psyched for that. And what are your guys' initial thoughts, Ray, especially you, about this arc?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This is my favorite arc so far that we've watched in the whole Dragon Ball series.
I'm glad you're
And
not going to lie to us, Ray. I appreciate
no,
that.
well, I just want to say it right off the bat. But yeah, and it's funny because compared to the other ones, it's probably the least busy. Like it's the main plot is that battle between Goku and Frieza, obviously. So it's predominantly just that battle. But I don't know. I got hooked. Like I told you this earlier in the week. I messaged you this, especially when he turned Super Saiyan. It just drew me right in.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And
there's,
I
I
will...
like,
Yeah.
there's a huge step in the fandom now.
And
That.
you said, and by the way, Hookie Wookie, thank you for the huge donation. I really appreciate it. You donated as soon as I was introducing, so I couldn't say it right away, but thank you. I did want to say that, yeah, Ray said officially he became a quote-unquote fan, and he can explain what that means, of Dragon Ball last arc, where he was, like, thinking about it, like, all the time beyond just watching the shows.
Yeah. So yeah, I define fan as like being invested in what you're watching. So like if you're watching a sport, you're invested in it. You're not just watching it passively. So I felt like I was a lot more invested. And then after watching it, like thinking about it and like contemplating different scenarios and it consuming your mind outside of watching the actual series. So that totally happened. Probably if as soon as he became Super Saiyan, that's when that switch went off in my head. And yeah, I'm excited.
And I gotta say, like, that Super Saiyan transformation, you know, the anime gets a lot of flack because of how long and how many fillers there are. And there was, like, on our new video that we posted on AnimeUproar 2, there was also a comment, like, how many Saiyans does it take to put in a light bulb? And it was, like, one, but it takes 22 episodes. And, like, there is those kinds of memes. But I have to say, in defense of the anime, the transformation to Super Saiyan was so much more epic than in the manga, where you don't get that back and forth. You just get a sudden, oh, he's Super Saiyan now.
Yeah. I thought that the big issue with the anime is that there's a lot of like recaps, both at the beginning of each episode and then sometimes in the middle of an episode they'll do like a recap of what happened in this arc, and that would definitely kind of slow down the pacing. But yeah, it's not as bad as I thought, because back when I watched it as a kid, I watched it weekly. It was on TV in Canada. It was week by week. And I remember it feeling like it took so long. And I've shared this story before, but I remember when this Super Saiyan moment happened, I had a friend, we lived in the same building, who also was watching Dragon Ball. And so because it was airing on TV, we would watch it every day. And he was watching it at his house. I was watching it in my house. And when the Super Saiyan thing happened and the episode ended, I ran out of my house, ran over to his apartment across the hallway, and then we met up and we're like, bro, what just happened? Like, we were so into it. And remember, this is like, I don't know, like early 2000s, so the internet was not a huge thing. You couldn't like download episodes to watch ahead of time, so we were like trying to find information about what the Super Saiyan is online, like on Yahoo search, probably not even Google. And yeah, it was a crazy time, but I remember this was when I really got into it and the whole concept. because back when this aired in North America, he had already completely finished Dragon Ball in Japan. It wasn't simulcast like today, so there was definitely information out there for fans on the
Uh-huh.
online. But I remember this moment really being what got me like, yo, I can't believe this happened. What is the Super Saiyan thing? What happens next, and all this other stuff.
Yeah, and so that's pretty much the hooking point, like beyond anything, like that Super Saiyan thing. When you go to tell a friend about something, like that's always like a sign that something has deeply impacted you. And I'm glad that Animac could come and tell that story because I don't remember me witnessing this moment in Dragon Ball Z myself or like what I did afterwards. But Animac has told me this story before, and I'm like, bro, that's such an epic story. Like running, like we lived in buildings, and he just ran straight to the other guy's house or apartment, and he's like, bro, it just happened. So that was, I love that story.
Yeah, and it was on YTV. Someone, Eneru in the chat, it's like YTV represent. Yeah, it was YTV. YTV had Sailor Moon and Pokemon and Dragon Ball. They even had Escaflowne. And actually, I remember Escaflowne, which is actually kind of like girl oriented. But back when I watched it, it was my first hint that this anime stuff is more deep than just the kind of cartoons we have on Western TV. Because I remember I loved the plot and concept of Escaflowne as well. So I had an inkling back then that anime was something different and special, but I never really followed through with it until later on in like 2010 when you got me into Death Note and then all the other anime
Yeah.
afterwards.
No, yeah, you're welcome, bro. I feel like I did you a huge life service by getting you into anime after you lost your way after Dragon Ball Z. So yeah, thank you, Sam, for the donation. DJ Killer, thank you so much for the raid. Ray, so did you also had that impact, right? When you went to Super Saiyan, you felt the need to like communicate with me, just like Animac did with his friend, and you were like, bro, like I'm hooked, like I'm a fan, I'm not just like Cause the thing is, I kind of try to like clickbait the episodes of Dragon Ball version on YouTube. So I'm like non-anime fan reacts to this, to like Goku versus Frieza and stuff like that. And Ray is now like, bro, I'm a fan now. I'm like, I'm still gonna use the clickbait, but yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. As a side note, how weird does it say I ran to my friend's house and I went to their house at a time like this? Like that's unheard
Yeah.
of.
But
anyways,
anime brings us together, bro.
yes, exactly. But yeah, I actually had that similar experience in terms of like I'm still confused a bit about what Super Saiyan really means because like I mentioned this in the previous episode, I'm still like, is it an actual thing that someone's born with? Is it like if you're a Saiyan, it's something any Saiyan could get to? I'm still not 100% sure.
Yeah, again, I
So,
wouldn't get too bogged down by it
yeah,
because like, you'd know if you needed to know. Like they give you the information. You have all the information you should know by now, and you're not
yeah,
gonna do Animac and like search it up on the internet. But
yeah,
the point is, we do know that it's like associated with rage. It's supposed to be like once every 1,000 years, as we've previously heard that there's a Super Saiyan, and people, it was so vague and it was so like people didn't know what it was that Vegeta straight up said he was a Super Saiyan multiple times, even though he
mhm,
didn't have the blonde hair.
yeah,
Yeah,
So
so
that
he didn't even know what a Super Saiyan meant. He just thought it meant being strong.
yeah, so that's how rare it is that people don't even know what it looks like until Goku finally achieves it through rage. But Animac, what we usually do is we run like somewhat through some parts chronologically to get like Ray's impressions about it.
Yeah,
Ray,
yeah,
is there
that's cool.
anything before the Super Saiyan stuff? Like, Goku. Obviously, we continued with the Ginyu being a frog and taking Bulma's body. We
mhm.
continued with Goku using Kaioken against Frieza at first, and then the Spirit Bomb. Any highlights for you?
Yeah. I mean, I wrote down a few notes. It was interesting that at first Frieza says he's only going to summon 50% of his power, and I wrote like the first couple episodes. It's a lot of Frieza kicking Goku's ass.
Yeah,
Um, like that's just a common thread throughout those first couple episodes. And even Goku admits, like, I don't know if I could beat this guy. He's like the probably the strongest being in the universe. So, yeah, that's like a common thread that ran through. Obviously, you mentioned the Genyu thing, and we dropped that off in the last part of the previous episode. And yeah, we get this moment where Ginyu is in Bulma's body and behaving unlike Bulma would, and they finally find out it's not Bulma, it's actually Ginyu. So it gets to the point where how that transformation comes back, how she gets her body back, is Ginyu tries to switch bodies with Piccolo, and then Gohan throws the frog, and then the switch is back. So then Bulma gets her body back. The frog becomes Ginyu again.
Yeah. So, and I told you, Animac, that I kind of read the manga just to compare, and yeah, that whole Ginyu stuff wasn't even in the anime. So it was. I was wondering like, how the fuck after he steals Bulma's body are they gonna like get back to his actual normal body and a frog body, and how's Bulma gonna be saved? But it turned out to be something simple, like just throwing the frog in that direction, kind of thing.
Yeah, I thought that was funny, but also like silly, because Bulma's like, "Yeah, kick his ass, Frieza," and they're like, "Bulma, what's wrong with you?"
And that is fucking hilarious because, yeah, in the manga, that doesn't even happen. By the way, Psionic, thank you for the raid. In the manga, that doesn't happen, so it is funny. Like, there is, like, pretty comedic moments that they add to the anime that I appreciate, although sometimes it's, like, too much. Like, they add entire, like, sub-stories that sometimes go on for too long. But that was funny. When you just have Bulma and she's like, yes! Frieza's kicking Goku's ass! I love it! And then they're like, does Bulma seem weird to you? And Piccolo's like, I don't know, she's just weird, man. So no, I did enjoy that a lot. Then there was, obviously, Goku using the Spirit Bomb. Because, you know, Kaioken times 10 didn't work. Kaioken times 20 didn't work when Frieza kept powering up. And the Spirit Bomb is iconic, Ray. And I finally get a better sense of what this Spirit Bomb was. Because originally, you might not remember this, Animac, but the Spirit Bomb was like this kind of small orb you could kind of see in your hand. Like, that's the technique. And when he did it on Earth, that's kind of what it was. But here, we realize that it's so big because he didn't just borrow energy from the planet Namek, he borrowed energy from, like, surrounding planets as well. And that's why it was so fucking huge, which is interesting, Because I never associated it with I always associate that with the Spirit Bomb, but this is like some multi-planetary Spirit Bomb.
Yeah, and I thought that back when I was watching it as a kid, I thought it took like 8 years for that Spirit Bomb to get formed, but it was only like 3 episodes or something.
And yeah, the problem was with what Animac is talking about is so we had to wait like a week to watch an episode, and then you couldn't fast forward the recap, so like, you know, you got a lot of the repetition like going on that here it wasn't that noticeable because we could just like go right away, fast forward to the reintroduction of stuff. So
exactly, yeah.
So Animac was even commenting to me that it passed by quicker than he expected it to, and that's partly because of the memes and partly because of the way we used to watch anime. How crazy and barbaric was that?
Yeah, imagine like watching once a week and like you can't pause it, you can't fast forward, you can't rewatch. It's just on TV once, and you know, you catch it, you miss it, you miss it.
Yeah, luckily they'll explain to you what happened, so it's like you didn't even miss it. But yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, with Spirit Bomb, Ray, like did it blow your mind? Like, that's an iconic moment in Dragon Ball Z, that giant Spirit Bomb.
Yeah, it was just kind of frustrating because, again, I look at it in terms of like things making logical sense, and I'm like, why would Frieza wait?
I think you and Animac will get along because I think he always gets called out on Rank of A and One Piece for trying to make logical sense, and that's you now. You're probably worse than him with it.
Yeah, I know I have to throw that out as well, but yeah, I'm just thinking like, how could he not? Well, I know he can't sense it, but why would he just let him? It looks like he's powering up. He has his hands in the air. How could he not notice that? And he just, like, Piccolo comes and he gets off, of course, and doesn't pay attention to Goku while he's powered. Like, I'm just like, in reasonableness, how could he just let that go on for that long? And obviously he was up to something. But yeah, that was kind of frustrating, but I know I have to kind of get that. Like, I just can't think that way, obviously, because it would just be boring if he just attacked him and he couldn't use the Spirit Bomb.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Is that Shakespeare?
Nope. It's Geico.
Yeah, that's Shakespeare from one of his unpublished works. Oh, it be not for awakening. Nay, giveth thou the berries. For 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
No, it's from Geico, because they help save people money.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but Geico got it from Shakespeare.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Oh,
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, so it's definitely kind of like weird. He's like, "Oh, look, you're using waterfowls to attack me." Haha.
Yeah.
And then like he goes like he's fighting Krillin and shit. But I guess the only thing you can really excuse it with is that Frieza is so cocky and underestimates his opponents all the time, so he didn't even feel the need to like kill him fast.
yeah.
Yeah, and you gotta realize it's more like drawn out in the anime than the manga. But you're right. Sometimes, like in the anime, I was like, he's like, oh, what could he be doing? Does he have a plan? Is he trying to distract me instead of just fucking attacking Goku? The Frieza's monologue during those parts was hilarious to me.
Oh yeah, and Frieza constantly makes like these statements that are like from our own world, like these sayings, like I can't recall now, but it was just kind of like little schoolyard insults that were familiar to us.
And yeah, I feel like the dubbing company was like just having fun with it, getting like creative, because they're like, we have control, might as well like, have some fun with it rather than just translate everything word for word kind of thing. But yeah, the energy, the spirit of Dragon Ball Z comes across despite that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so we have the Spirit Bomb. That was epic, and then Frieza obviously gets hit by that. And I do like how up to this point, Piccolo had to distract him. There was all this, like, that's something you'll notice, Animac, about early Dragon Ball Z. It's always like a team effort. It was like a team effort against Vegeta. It was a team effort against Raditz, and pretty much until the end here where Goku goes Super Saiyan, it was a team effort. Like, Piccolo had to distract him, he had to power up the Spirit Bomb, he finally launched it, and then the other thing I loved was they thought it was over, right? How did you react, Ray, when it comes out that, bro, not only has he survived, but he right away launches like a deadly attack?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I understand some of the tropes, so I wasn't surprised at all. But it was kind of funny how they thought it was over. They were thinking about how to go back to Earth, and sure enough, he survived, and he's not even really phased. So, yeah,
I mean, he looked pretty beat up, like, not gonna lie. But yeah, you're right. He's not like, it's not gonna slow him down.
No, like there's not a significant damage to him. There's some scratches, I guess, but yeah, I mean, I kind of knew at this point, especially because, I mean, this happens in episode around like 94 or so, so there's a lot more to go. That I know that just can't be the end, and because we've seen the Spirit Bomb used within like the movies and stuff, and obviously, I don't think that same technique is going to be able to finish off Frieza here.
Yeah, well, that's good because I would have expected it too, because it was like the biggest Spirit Bomb we've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, Animac probably doesn't remember what he thought back in the day, but yeah, like, because he knew there was going to be the Super Saiyan moment. But what did you think about the Spirit Bomb, Animac?
Yeah, I also thought that it was, a bit of a long build-up in terms of Frieza not just attacking him. But otherwise, yeah, you're right. It was a team effort. They had to distract him and, calculate the strength of the Spirit Bomb, make sure it's strong enough and all that type of stuff. And I think that makes sense.
It wasn't, despite all that.
Yeah, but I think the team effort stuff makes sense because right now they're fighting someone who is supposed to be, well above anything they've ever seen before. So in order to hype him up enough, you have to actually, get that discrepancy in power levels across. You can't just have him be beaten by like one guy. You have to show that, yeah, it's a team effort. They have to go past their limits and do these incredible things just to stand a chance.
Exactly. And Ray, I sometimes talk about this, how like I don't like when a character just like gets so strong that he overpowers another character without technique and stuff like that. Because sometimes you have anime where there's all this strategy in the beginning, but then the main character gets so strong that it starts being like just about him rather than the team efforts and stuff like that. But the thing with here is that was new for Dragon Ball Z, where Goku just comes in and like wrecks Frieza on his own with the Super Saiyan transformation. So even though by now so many shonen have used this formula about like the main character just getting stronger and wrecking people, but here it wasn't that overused, and here it was epic because it wasn't common in Dragon Ball Z. So like him actually beating the shit out of Frieza, completely overpowering him, embarrassing him, it actually worked really well, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was also good because Super Saiyan was built up for so long as this great thing, right? So it makes sense for Goku's power to increase exponentially because he's just attained this like crazy legendary status.
Yeah, exactly. And imagine like we fucking had the Spirit Bomb and then we had Super Saiyan and it did nothing. Like you knew the Super Saiyan had to win out in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Frieza was definitely resilient. Like they didn't just easily beat him. Like he kept coming back and he kept, sneaking.
And it was almost like
stuff.
it was almost like at his strongest, Frieza was like a good match for Goku. It's just he couldn't keep up with that level, and Goku could just keep going while Frieza was getting more and more exhausted as they went on.
Yeah. And we kind of know why already, but I don't think Ray knows, so probably we shouldn't talk about it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure what you're referring to, but we will see. We might come up across it again.
Well, basically just the fact that Frieza has never been tested to that extent, right?
Okay. All right. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, so he's definitely looking way ahead. Like this is ahead of Dragon Ball Z. But yeah, we don't need to worry about that now. But with the Goku situation, I thought it was really cool seeing how he made that decision to let him go to 100%. What did you think of that, Ray? Because he had a situation where he could have killed him, right? Frieza could have been dead. It would have been the safe thing to do for his family, for for everything. Like once he started to detonate the planet, he probably could have beat him like even before that. But after that, he had plenty of times to beat him, and he let him go to 100%. How did you feel about that?
Yeah, and he actually changes his mind because when he sends that like energy wave and we know that the planet is going to be destroyed in 5 minutes, Goku says, well, I'm not going to give you the time to power up. I'm going to like kill you now. That's the end of one of the episodes. And then the next he decides, I'm actually going to give you the time to power up because I'm just curious. It goes back to even like Dragon Ball, how he spared Piccolo because he wanted another like worthy opponent out there to test him. He has this mentality of always wanting to be pushed to see how far he could go. So it didn't surprise me because he's been like that since he was a kid. Like he always wants to see the best in other people, so then he's challenged. So it didn't surprise me, though. It's interesting that like when Frieza says like the planet will blow in 5 minutes, that was like the longest 5 minutes there ever was.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like
he couldn't say like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, like 5 minutes. Come on,
because it raises the urgency, and like I told you, a lot of these like weekly manga are like about just being intense and interesting, so like to keep people watching and coming to like read. But yeah, you're right. Like the 5 minutes was like hours for us.
I was definitely frustrated at times with Goku's behavior.
Yeah, because you're very Machiavellian, right? Like when you judge characters, I'd say Animax. So you'd probably be like, bro, he could have killed him here, he could have killed him here. So yeah, I'd love to hear your take.
Well, but think about it, it's not like, okay, this is just an opponent in a tournament and Goku is being gracious. It's like this guy has killed so many people, destroyed planets, and he will do it again. And yet you're like, you know what? Here's some of my energy, bro. I'll spare your life. It's like, Goku, no. Okay?
Yeah, he repeatedly does it. And yeah, that's the interesting thing, because the legend, and you might not have seen this, Animac, because it might have been before you actually started watching the episodes, like recently. But they said that the Super Saiyan was a creature lost in anger, and that it ended up destroying itself in the past. Like that might have been filler, but it was in the anime. So it's interesting how Goku despite turning into a Super Saiyan, and we saw how angry he got at Gohan when Gohan wasn't following orders, like, that was very un-Goku. Did you notice that, Ray?
Yeah, when he's yelling at him to just go to
Yeah.
the spaceship and leave.
Yeah, because we used to always talk about, like, how he's a pushover, and Animac, we were saying that Chi-Chi is, like, the actually harsh one. But with the Super Saiyan, it does unleash that kind of anger, and all of a sudden he's like, Gohan, I'm not going to tell you again. Get the fuck out of here. Like, that's pretty much what he said.
To me, it was just him being the normal father, but I guess because of Goku's standards.
Yeah, by Goku's standards, that was harsh, and it was about him, like, trying to control this power, this, like, anger-based transformation. So that was interesting, but at the end of the day, I think it's important that he did maintain his own, like, kind of character, because it would have been even harder to do so in Super Saiyan form. So the fact that he spares Frieza in Super Saiyan form means so much more than if he just, spared him in normal form, because he's dealing with this, like, anger-based transformation that usually gets people to, not be able to control themselves. So I thought that was a cool part. Yeah.
Allegedly, though, because, like we said, this is such a mysterious form and no one's really seen it in their lifetime. So a lot of it is just myth.
Yeah, it is myth. In the manga, it does say, like, Gohan, get out of here. I don't know how long I'll be able to control myself. Like, get out of here. So there was that kind of idea, but definitely you're right. A lot of this is still, like, a myth. And obviously, we'll learn more about the Super Saiyan form as we go on, Ray. Don't worry about that. But we did jump over something important, and that was not only Piccolo getting in the way and blocking Goku's shot, which Frieza, when he fired at Goku, Piccolo saved him, right? Again, because we watched from Dragon Ball that Piccolo transformation. That was very powerful. And how did you feel when he went after Krillin, bro? Because that instigated the whole transformation.
Yeah, no, that was it's funny because we've been watching the Dragon Ball Abridged, and the Krillin ownage count is getting pretty high.
Yeah, so you can bet. By the way, guys, Monday around 6 p.m. Sometimes we're late, but Mondays on the AnimeUproar Twitch channel, we react to Dragon Ball Z Abridged episodes, and yeah, you could bet this is gonna be one of his ownages, Krillin's.
Yeah, but yeah, that's his best friend, and we saw back in Dragon Ball how torn up he was when he went back to the stadium and saw that Piccolo had killed Krillin.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was super hard for Goku to take. So yeah, no, it was difficult to see, but there are a couple other things too that we went over that I do want to mention as well.
Yeah,
but
go, feel free.
Yeah, I mean, there was one particular thing we talked about Goku and, like, not enacting revenge or not being Machiavellian in certain ways. And one thing I did like was, I mean, he allows Frieza to power up to 100% instead of just taking him out right there. And I mean, the one thing I love is when he basically tells Frieza at one point, yeah, I'm not going to fight you anymore because at this point, like, you're depleting with energy and you're not even, like, a challenge for me anymore. And you see so many times Frieza, like, mentally abusing other people, like taking shots at other people. And it was just so great to see him just, like, absolutely chopping Frieza down and being like, you're not even a worthy opponent anymore. And bringing him down to earth. Like, that was awesome.
Yeah, no, that's
one of my favorite parts in the whole arc.
Yeah, that was part of my that made me love the Frieza fight. And Sam, thank you for a donation. Sam says Goku freely bitch slaps Frieza like he owes him money. Yes.
Yeah.
Sam, thank you so much for bringing that up, because Animac can tell you this. We have a group chat, me, Animac, and our friend Kid Kai, and I sent that literal the video of Goku getting bitch slapping Frieza because I thought it was so funny.
I think he says, I'm going to slap some sense into you, and then he just
oh yeah
goes at it.
Oh my god, I loved it. I love that about the whole Frieza situation. Animac, did you love the bitch slapping?
Yeah, man. I mean, Frieza is such a evil, character, right? He's so condescending. He's so insane and cruel, and all that is very much driven into us by this point. So when you see him finally getting what he deserves and Goku defeating him and beating him up and slapping him, it feels so gratifying because it's like, yo, this guy deserved this. He had this coming for so long. And, when you're watching this for the first time and you're invested in Goku and everyone, it's so rewarding to see Goku getting this strong. And even though he does frustrating things, overall, I think, especially when you're younger, you're like, this is it, bro. This is as good as, a cartoon gets.
This is as good as a cartoon gets. I completely agree with that. And I just wanted to say about the Krillin thing, too. Like, yeah, so for Goku, he didn't think he could be brought back with the Dragon Balls, right? Because, the Dragon Ball situation is confusing, and eventually King Kai figures out a workaround. But since Krillin was killed twice, he's like, bro, this is the last time I'll ever see my best friend. That triggers the transformation, and I included this, as I told you, Ray, last time, in my best revenge moments in anime, one of the videos that I have on the AnimeUproar channel, because there's so much backstory here, and it works so well. There's personal stuff with him killing Krillin right in front of his eyes, right? Like a helpless Krillin. And then there's the backstory of him destroying all of the Saiyans, completely making a joke of, like, the race, treating them horribly, killing Goku's dad, which, is less emotional than Krillin, obviously, because he didn't know him or anything, but it was powerful. And all of that, what he's done to the galaxy comes back in the form of this Super Saiyan, and it is such sweet revenge because of all that.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, was this ever addressed? Like, if Geekdom was here, he would probably slap me for not knowing this, but wasn't it weird that when we see Frieza taking out Planet Vegeta, he does it so quickly in, like, his his chair form, and then when he takes out Namek, he's doing it, like, in his final form, and it still takes a while.
No, yeah, it makes sense, because the thing is, he in the in the chair, like, he pretty much just can do that. He could do that to Namek if he wanted to. Here, it is possible that he put the wrong amount of energy in, or he wanted to, I think they might have said this, he wanted to give himself time to, like, leave the planet, so he set it to detonate rather than to just destroy it. But you're absolutely right. In a much weaker form, he could take out planets, and he could do that now. It's just, yeah, he didn't want to get caught up in the explosion.
Yeah, that's fair. It's true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Ray?
I was going to say that was one of my, like, logical inconsistencies. I'm thinking, why not, like, if we saw in the movie he was easily able to destroy Planet Vegeta in that form, why not just destroy the planet and try to escape?
Yeah. So he'd have to escape first and then destroy the planet.
Yeah.
Right. So he doesn't get caught in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a fair point. Goku also suggested that Frieza, like him, wanted to go 100% and defeat Goku, because he didn't want the shot to his pride that he had to use tricks. So he also go for
it. With Frieza, he definitely wants to win fair and square just because of his pride, but when he sees that that's not possible, he is not above doing the dirtiest of tricks, because at the end he just wants to win no matter what. Obviously, ideally he would win, all outright, but if he can't win outright, then he'll win dirty. He doesn't care.
Good afternoon. Would you like to try a free sample of our double fudge brownie?
Oh, sure. That's very good. I'll just take one more, just to be sure. Yep, still very good.
Some things never change, like never being able to take just one free sample. And Geico saving folks lots of money on their car insurance.
Is that macadamia nut I taste? Let me take one more.
Sir.
Yeah, I thought so.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Yeah. And I don't think mercy always works in anime, and I think shonen sometimes use it too much. It's to the point where it's, like, unrealistic. But the reason it works so well here is because to Frieza, it's worse to, like, live and be treated like the way Goku treats him. It's saying, like, I quit, like, it's not worth fighting you, you're getting weaker and weaker, you're not worth my time, like, don't show your face again. Being treated like that is actually worse for him than just dying. And I think that's why this is kind of like a beautiful moment. And unlike maybe in, like, other circumstances in other shows and whatever, him letting Frieza go doesn't come back to bite him in the ass. He actually, like, figures out, he knows hopefully that he's strong enough so that if Frieza does try to backstab him, then he could do something about it. So that's my defense of like him not killing him too early, kind of thing.
Well, we'll talk about that later because I mean, arguments can be made.
No, for sure. And we'll know more as we go forward in the manga. You guys who read the manga chapters, because they fit more into the manga chapters sometimes and then the anime episodes, you guys know already like what happens immediately after this, but we won't get into that here for the anime only watchers who don't know what happens after Goku refuses to come back to Earth.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I just thought the nostalgia was really huge for me, like seeing those green skies and blue grass of Namek.
Yeah, and
that was definitely something.
And I think you might notice if you're on the Twitch, Animac, that I use that iconic image. And Ray, this is like an iconic image of Goku's back with his Super Saiyan transformation with Namek's skyline. Like, it is so epic. Like, that gives me goosebumps. I don't think there's a more powerful image in Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball than that one.
Yeah, cool. Is this when his pupil, like his eyes are, you only see the white part in his eyes?
No.
I think this is the initial transformation, like just like when you first see him.
Yeah, you'll see it later when we go back and post it and stuff like that, but it's just a far away view of him. You don't see his eyes, he's turned back, but you see his hair and you see his like glowing like aura. I think they did the aura really well. That's something that didn't come across in the manga. It was like they can't do it, but I really like this kind of aura compared to the ones we see later on where sometimes they're less artistic, I guess I could say.
Yeah, and if you think about it, it's so simple. Like his hair and eye color change, and he has a cool aura, but yet it's so iconic, and it's become such a huge thing in pop culture.
Exactly, and I told you, I was telling Ray that it's so big that people like always reference it in raps. We were talking about how Jake Paul and Logan Paul are constantly calling themselves Super Saiyans and like using.
Oh yeah, the icons of modern rap, bro. Jake Paul, Logan Paul.
That was in addition to, but yeah, I was saying like obviously there's rappers like saying I'm about to go Super Saiyan and all of that stuff. Dragon Ball Z I think is the most like mentioned anime in rap, and yeah, we could go into that at some point, Ray, on while we're watching Dragon Ball Z abridged episodes and stuff like that. But yeah, just the cultural impact that this has had is so big, man. I can't overemphasize it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think after Dragon Ball, Naruto would be probably the most referenced and popular.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, Dragon Ball is kind of like the original. And like one thing that I really thought about while watching this is, people don't really think about this, but Dragon Ball initially came out in the 80s. Then we had Dragon Ball Z, which ended in the mid 90s, like 96, right? And this, I feel like Dragon Ball definitely revolutionized, martial arts and superpower fighting in anime, because they combined martial arts and superpowers in such a unique way. And I feel like a lot of modern anime were influenced by that, because by that, back then, that wasn't such a huge thing yet. Like I know a lot of 80s anime and the 70s anime, they were like period pieces, historical anime, or like space anime, mecha, stuff like that. I feel like Dragon Ball had a huge impact on like the concept of martial arts and superpowers coming together in fights.
Yes, and improvement as well, because like you'd have some other fighting anime, but it's like they usually were characters that kicked ass or like didn't necessarily grow in terms of fighting abilities. But Dragon Ball Z really foregrounded that evolution of a fighter. Rather, like he loses, then he gets stronger, new forms, then he wins. Like Super Eye Patch Wolf, actually, I should rewatch it, came out with a video on how like Dragon Ball Z changed everything. So that's definitely, for everybody listening, a video worth watching. I remember he talks about like a lot of that, how it revolutionized the shonen genre, and how like it influenced so many others afterwards, like Naruto, like One Piece. Ray, you probably shouldn't watch it yet because there probably will be spoilers, but just something for other people to check out.
I do have a side question that I put down here related to the arc, and I probably know the answer, but I just want to know your reaction to it. So
Holy
this is-
shit, that's my reaction to it.
no,
Alright, go.
more of like your interpretation of it. So this is going back to when there's those sequences of wishes happening with the Dragon Balls. So the one is they decide upon everyone who was killed by Frieza to be resurrected. And I don't know if you remember this, but Goku gets like absolutely slammed into like a mountain or something like that by Frieza. And then when Gohan's going back to the ship, he's like, I feel like my dad's power level is like nothing. And Kai even says Goku's dead.
Kai is
And
so
then-
premature, and I just
He
want to
is-
put that.
he
Like,
is
he is so premature this whole arc. Like, he's like, Goku won! Oh, Goku died! Oh, Goku won! Like, he just keeps going from one to the other.
Yeah, and he's just so like dramatic.
Oh, yeah.
constantly.
Yeah, no, he is. Keep going,
But-
Rick.
I was going to say, so there's that moment where he gets driven in and Gohan senses that his father doesn't have a power level anymore, but he just keeps going because it's what he told him to do, go to the ship. And then we get the other moment, like soon after, where they resurrect the dragon. Everyone comes back. I love when Vegeta comes back. He's like, oh, so this is what hell looks like. He thinks he's in hell.
Yeah, Vegeta's great. Vegeta's
Yeah, he
good.
comes back, but the planet is like being destroyed. Is like, and like the Namekians are like, dude, it's like, what the fuck? Why would we come back if we're gonna die anyway?
Yeah.
Wasn't it funny like when Goku was having that flashback of like Vegeta? Not a flashback, but it's like almost like Vegeta's like talking to him from beyond the grave. He's having that vision of him talking
Yeah.
about Saiyan pride, and Vegeta's just completely naked.
I do remember. Yeah, I do remember something like that. Like,
I was like, why is Vegeta completely naked in this vision?
no, yeah, I don't. Why did they decide to do that? Like, that's so funny. They could have easily put him in clothes. Like, I have no idea. But yeah, the girls got some Vegeta fan service.
It's like you just see him completely naked, and then like his little Saiyan tail. Like that was all, bro.
It's like, Goku, what's on your mind, bro? What would Freud say about your visions, bro?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so that
was funny.
that wasn't in the manga, like, but yeah, that was so random. And a lot of the stuff wasn't in the manga, like Goku kind of disappearing for a while, then Gohan showing back up to fight against Frieza's final form, and then kind of doing well, and then Goku coming out of the water. That was in the manga, it just didn't have Gohan in between. That was an epic moment when he comes out of the water and, like, you know, he's still okay. But it took way longer in the anime, and then Gohan, like, you know, actually did really well against Frieza for a little bit until he didn't, obviously. But yeah, that didn't make really sense in the anime because Goku was like, don't come back, go to the ship. And then he goes to the ship, comes back, and then Goku's like, go to the ship, and he goes again. Like, that didn't really happen in the manga, so that's...
because he takes Bulma first, and then he leaves her again, right? And then
Yeah, so he doesn't leave. He just kind of, they just leave from there. They kind of just get wished to the other thing. But in the anime, they had Gohan fight Final Form Frieza, actually do better than I think he would have actually done fighting him at this stage, and then obviously he gets the shit beat out of him, which is like a meme. Like, Gohan keeps getting the shit beaten out of him. Like, we see that all the time. We saw that when also they got wished to the planet Earth. That whole thing where Vegeta beats the shit out of Gohan and Piccolo. It's so funny. Bulma's like trying to stop them, and Piccolo's like, no, let him beat him up. But that was funny because that also didn't happen. The anime loves throwing in like Gohan getting beaten up.
yeah, I wanted to talk about that because how funny is Vegeta? He's such a dick. He's like, Gohan's like a 5-year-old is like, my dad's still alive. And Vegeta's like, your dad is history, stupid kid. And then he's just laughing.
Oh
And
my
Gohan-
god. Yeah. Go.
Gohan's like, stop saying that. And he's like, all right, I'm going to kick this 5-year-old kid's ass. Ah!
It's so funny. He just grabs him by the hair and like knees his face. And the dude's like 5 years old. No, and and you gotta love how much of a dick he is. Like, obviously you could tell, and I told Ray that he's pretty much a tsundere and explained what that means, where like even when he's nice, he acts tough and he acts like he's not being nice. But when they were like, oh, wait, where are these other Namekians? We wish back everyone Frieza and his men took out. And Vegeta's like, haha, you didn't wish back the ones I took out because I wasn't with Frieza. So those guys won't be coming back. And it's like, he was not remorseful or apologetic at all. He was just being a complete dick. So yeah, you have a lot of those Vegeta moments where he's still very much a dick and very much even considers like destroying everyone on the planet in the anime, which we don't actually get in the manga.
By the way, why wasn't anyone like all of Planet Vegeta revived then? Because wasn't it
Uh,
just stated
they-
whoever Frieza kills?
They explained it happened within a 1 year time period.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of the limit to it. But even if they were brought back, they would have died because Saiyans can't breathe in space, and the planet wouldn't be revived. Only the people that would have been revived where the planet used to be, where they died. And so that's the whole reason they have to wish Krillin's soul back before they actually wish his body back, because he would have just revived where Planet Namek was and died again.
Yeah, to the Earth station thing. Yeah. No, I asked because the way it was phrased, at least in certain parts, it was like everyone Frieza killed, right? So it wasn't even like all Namek or in the past year.
Yeah.
It was the way it was initially phrased. It made it seem like anyone Frieza had ever killed.
Yeah. And they were very ambiguous, and I think that's kind of like almost a cop-out that they're allowed to do that, because they made it anyone Frieza, thank you Sam for the donation, they made it everyone Frieza or his men killed, brought back, and it didn't have to be direct killing. So people who died prematurely because of grief, like the Elder, were brought back too. So yeah, they were lucky it worked like that, because, you know, that's asking a lot from one wish.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted clarification too on that particular dragon from Namek. So it's a year's span of when the person died, or when the person was killed by the other, like Frieza, for example. Because we have Tien and we have Chaozu, who they would have wished back. This would have been 130 days later after that. So wouldn't it have been longer than a year? Like, wouldn't they have not been able to wish back Tien and Chaozu?
I think it's different when you wish back a specific person and when you wish back, like, oh, anybody who was killed by this person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a year of, if you were killed by a particular person, it would be a year for that. But if you just said, I'm going to wish back.
Yeah, so this is kind of guesswork, and
whatever.
again, don't take it too seriously. But yeah, so that kind of seems to be the case. Like, if you're going to go broad, like everyone, you can't just go into infinity, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, one person is easier to do.
Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to go back to that one question I had about when we had them resurrecting everyone who was killed by Frieza. So obviously Goku didn't die there when they said his power level was nothing. And like, that's when Gohan comes back, and there's that prolonged amount of time of him getting beat up by Frieza. That wish had nothing to do with him coming back. He was just bringing his power level down and waiting for the opportunity to come back.
In what sense? What do you mean? So, like, if Goku is off doing his own thing. We don't know what it is right now. We just know he's not dead.
No, sorry. This is, I'm not talking about at the end of the arc. I'm talking about the part where Frieza ends up, like, I forget exactly what he does, but he he hits Goku, Goku falls, and this is where Gohan's going back to the ship.
Yeah.
And Gohan's like, oh, my father's power level is 0 now.
Yes.
I think he died. And then right after that, they bring back everyone who was killed by Frieza.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, well, then did he actually die? Because if so, he would have gotten brought back by the Dragon
Oh,
Balls.
that's
Was that
hilarious.
Dragon Balls itself, or was that Goku just
That's hilarious.
coming back? It was just interesting
I
timing,
never
like,
thought that. Ooh, that's interesting. Like, I don't think Frieza had the power to kill him, but that would be interesting if he just.
I was just gonna say, it's interesting how Gohan senses, like, my father has no power anymore, like he's dead.
Yeah.
Frieza says he's dead. I think Kai, though you can't really trust Kai, but he says he's dead. And then right after that, they wish everyone who was killed by Frieza to come back. So that would include Goku if he died. What was that, like the dragon who brought him back there, or was it just him?
Yeah, I get your question. I think it wasn't the dragon, but it is an interesting, like, idea. But no, if Frieza could kill Goku, then he would have killed Goku. You know?
Yeah.
Like, him coming back to life wouldn't have changed it because he's still lost. Like, the whole thing with Goku is he wants to win fair and square, right? We know that from the history of Dragon Ball. And if he had to win with like an extra wish being brought back to life, then that would have been like cheating pretty much. He wouldn't have been satisfied with that. So it's important for his like story, for his character arc, that he wins fair and square. And like I said, in the manga, it was actually him coming back right away, and Gohan didn't come in the interval to fight with Frieza while Goku was just underwater for like, I don't know, what was it, like an episode?
Yeah.
So like he just comes back up right away. So yeah, that's the situation. Zekken said something actually really good. That what did you think of Goku's Super Saiyan speech? Because I wanted Animax's view on this too. Because he was like, "I am the ally to the innocent. I am truth. I am justice." Like, Animax, what did you think of that? Because I know you love like kind of using truth and justice and like, you know, interchangeably.
Well, it was interesting because it's not what Saiyans are known for in the universe, that's for sure. Like, Saiyans are known for being aggressive, cruel, for, you know, losing, you know, control of themselves, going berserk and destroying things. So it was interesting that Goku's interpretation of a Super Saiyan was the complete opposite of what a Saiyan was believed to be.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point. Like, he became a Super Saiyan, but he's still him. And I think that's like the victory here. He figured out a way to use this form, which again, you're right, we don't know much about, but it's associated with anger, and he just maintained his pure-heartedness in a sense, his naivete. But yeah, I think that was more so heavily focused on in the anime, because if he was really like, you know, a source of justice or whatever, he would prioritize saving people to having a better fight with Frieza and possibly the whole universe losing because of that.
Yeah, and also, if you look at like Vegeta, he's like the Saiyan nationalist. Like he loves Saiyans and Saiyan pride. And
Although
stuff.
he killed Nappa, but yeah.
But his whole thing is never like, oh, Saiyans are the best because they are, you know, the most just, or the most, you know, they represent truth. It's like, no, because they're the strongest, they're warriors, they're badass. Like, that's his whole Saiyan thing.
Vegeta actually thought that you have to be merciless to become a Super Saiyan. And so it's interesting that Goku was not at all, and even in that form, he showed mercy, showing that like even when he attains a new level, he does it his own way. Even when he beats the world's strongest opponent, he'll do it in his own way and let him get to like full power. And yeah, like this is gold. This is like Goku being amazing, and I absolutely love this. Like, this is before like anything, you know, gets, I guess, over the top. Sometimes we may argue if like things get over the top at some point in the future, Ray, but I think this is perfect. This arc was perfectly done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, I definitely remember it very fondly from childhood, and it got me so invested in the show.
Yeah, and I even when I was watching, I was like, fuck, okay, so like we're gonna do an entire podcast episode about one fight, but there was actually like so much to it. Like the whole exploding planet was such a good aesthetic as well.
Good afternoon. Would you like to try a free sample of our double fudge brownie?
Oh, sure. That's very good. I'll just take one more, just to be sure. Yep, still very good.
Some things never change, like never being able to take just one free sample. And Geico saving folks lots of money on their car insurance.
Is that macadamia nut I taste? Let me take one more.
Sir,
Yeah, I thought so.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Like, you know, like it was all red, blood red, like things were, lava was popping up, and you just saw Goku's Super Saiyan form glowing in there. That was amazing. What did you think, Ray, of him actually finishing off Frieza? The way Frieza kind of used Destructo Disc again. Animac, I was telling Ray that I don't like when other people use Destructo Discs, because like I want it to be Krillin's thing, but Vegeta used it once, and now like also Frieza's using it. But yeah, what did you think of the whole way that Goku pretty much was dodging that Destructo Disc?
Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, we know that like Goku wants to be challenged, yet at the same time, he's kind of torn up with not wanting to full out kill his opponent. And he even warns Frieza, if you remember, to like get out of the way, because the Destructo Discs are like flying around, And I remember, I think what he's trying to do is just like maneuver around it. And Frieza's like, there's no way you're going to trick me and go in front of me and then disappear. And then I'm going to be sliced by my own attack. But sure enough, that happens because he just completely forgets where the Destructo Discs are. But it's just interesting how he still shows that mercy even then. Like he tells him, watch out, it's going to attack you. And then he doesn't have enough time. And that last attack, it's out of necessity that he has to do it. Because, he gives Frieza the power, like a bit of his power to be able to get out of the planet. Though he does say, like, you're on your own, which is like different from the Goku previously. Like he's a bit more like, figure this out yourself. I already gave you this favor. Whereas maybe before they'd be like, here, I'll take you with me, and then I'll drop you off somewhere.
Imagine. No, like he doesn't need to though, because like, you know, Frieza could survive in space. That would be I'm just imagining like a bro, like a trip, like a road trip between Goku and Frieza.
Well, I mean, he gives Piccolo like a sensu bean.
No, I know, but
like he's done some stupid stuff in the past, but I mean, he only finishes him off because of necessity, because he had no other choice when he fires that like energy wave at the end with the one arm, and it's just a way to defend himself. So I mean, how he finishes him off, he doesn't want to finish him off, obviously, but
he has to. He doesn't give him a choice. And
you should have killed him way earlier for sure. But I mean, that's just how Goku is.
Yeah, and it's like Frieza's downfall, like a Shakespearean play. His hubris was the end of him, because Goku was like, go. Like he could have survived, you know, come back, trained, whatever, fought another day, and he didn't do it because he couldn't let Goku. He couldn't even let him die because of the planet blowing up. He said, you have to die by my hand. Like, that's how much, like, his pride was tied into this. That even if he survived and Goku blew up with the planet, he would have technically won. But Frieza wanted him to be the one to kill Goku.
Mm-hmm.
So, I like that. I feel like there's that warrior respect between, like, definitely more so with Goku, but even with Frieza, and Goku can tell, like, there is this, like, warrior code where you wanna win. You want to beat them when they're at their best and not just, like, take a coward's way out kind of thing.
Yeah. I did like, as well, we talked about, like, the physical transformation of Goku. And, maybe you could argue he does show anger at times, but he is super calm. This is the most calm I've ever seen him throughout Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. Like nothing really phases him. And besides at the end, when this is after he defeats Frieza and he's going into the ship and trying to figure it out. Besides that, when he's kind of rattled and he doesn't know how to start it and he's kind of freaking out, like he remains like tranquil throughout that entire battle. And I don't know. I enjoyed that. Just the sense of calm he had throughout the entire thing.
Me too. And I really like that. I like when the philosophy of an anime is like calmness will lead to victory rather than just like losing your shit. Because sometimes it does feel like screaming is like the way to go because like it makes people stronger.
Yeah, and we've seen like people lose fights because they just lose their shit real easy. Like Nappa. He's someone who he can't control his anger, and obviously Goku would have beaten him anyways, but we see even when he has those smaller fights with Krillin that ends up leading him to be too cocky or not make a proper rational decision, and that ends up costing him in some way, even if it's getting hit. And here, like, Goku is just composed the whole time. He doesn't second guess himself, and I appreciate that.
And just wait until you see Super Saiyan Nappa, bro.
He doesn't have hair.
That's all I'm gonna say, bro. It'll blow you away, bro. So we could jump back now to, I think we covered everything we want to say about Goku versus Frieza, and we could jump back now to Vegeta and the people on planet Earth being brought back. Anything you guys want to say about that? I did love Bulma and Vegeta's convo. Like in the anime, she's like calls him cute, right? As Animac pointed out. And in the manga, she says, she's like, you can come live with us, like the Namekians, but you just gotta keep your hands to yourselves. I know, like, I make that really hard, but you can't be naughty, which I thought was hilarious. How did you guys like that dynamic?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, like I thought the whole like when they came back to Earth thing, it was just kind of funny. It was mostly comedic relief.
Yeah, I
comic relief.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as
Because
that,
basically Vegeta's like, those two idiots are gonna kill each other over there on Namek, and then I'm gonna be the strongest in the universe. So you guys better start following my orders now because I'm gonna be the next, emperor of the universe and all that type of stuff, which is in line with Vegeta's behavior. But at no point do you take him seriously because you're like, obviously he doesn't stand a chance against Goku. So if Goku survives, none of that makes any sense.
Yeah,
But yeah, I thought he was funny. He was a huge dick to Gohan. It was hilarious.
There was one part I thought was so strange when, after he beats up Gohan, and then Piccolo steps in and he flies away. In the beginning of the very next episode, he talks about like, why don't you just wish the like Krillin and Goku back to Earth first? This could be like their landing spot, and then you wish them back. And they're so appreciative. They're like, "Oh my God, Vegeta, you're so great!" And like Gohan wants to shake his hand. The episode before, he literally tried beating the shit out of him.
Yes,
And
but
it's like,
yeah, go.
no, it was just so weird. Like the dynamic completely switching.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because, like, as I mentioned in the manga, there wasn't that Vegeta beating up Gohan thing, like that wasn't present. And yeah, Vegeta actually tells them when they don't know how to save Goku. So that's, I think, the big reveal here out of anything is how much Vegeta's changed. Like, he went from, wanting to kill Kakarot, wanting to kill Frieza, to actually helping Goku get his life back when he thinks he's dead.
But he says the only reason
he says that, but that's him being a tsundere. He says, "Oh, I just want to figure out how to be a Super Saiyan," but that's him being like his persona, his dick persona. But man, I feel like definitely there's a connection there. Like, there's something there.
Yeah, and he's also a Saiyan nationalist, as I like to put it, because he doesn't want to kill off other Saiyans when so many of them have already been killed. So he even says to Gohan, he's like, "Oh, I should kill you now, and so you can't be a threat to me later because you have great potential. But you're a fellow Saiyan, so I can't do it because we need more of us."
Yeah, I just wish he fucking said that before he killed Nappa, because now we can't enjoy Nappa's greatness. I really, I miss
the thing
Nappa.
is, he probably thought that Nappa was too weak for a Saiyan.
Yeah, but like, I mean, the thing is, yeah, you could make that, but clearly there was a change in his character.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, because before he would have definitely killed Kakarot. Like, they fought, he would have killed Gohan. But I feel like this whole triumphing over Frieza, the guy who wiped out their entire planet, and doing it as like a team effort, and letting Goku carry on like the Saiyan pride after he died, was very much like an important part of his character building. And now he views that in a different way. And now he's like, yeah, Goku, Gohan, now they're my people. Although he can't say that because he wants to maintain that tsundere persona. Anything else, Ray, that you wanted to mention?
Just the last episode. I mean, there's a lot there, obviously, but I just love how, like, when we were with Dragon Ball at the beginning, that whole adventure story of finding the Dragon Balls was so central to the plot. And now, if you look at it, like, just and 130 days passed again, and then they've got the Dragon Balls. Like, it doesn't even get into how they found it. It's not even important anymore to the plot. It's just like you could tell that adventure story is secondary now compared to the darker tone, the battles.
And yeah, that's interesting that you bring that up because the Dragon Balls are still playing a part, right? But it's like I almost feel like Toriyama kind of put himself into a box because he clearly wants to go beyond that, but like he needs to tie Dragon Balls into it always because it's called Dragon Ball, right? So like, yeah, even though the focus is no longer on searching for Dragon Balls, they need to play some role in the plot, or else like, why is this show called Dragon Balls? Dragon Ball. Yeah. That was an interesting thing, yeah.
And the way it's going to work now is because they had technically 14 Dragon Balls on Earth, during that last period of time. But now that they used the last wish there to get the Namekians to go to a new planet, those Dragon Balls are going with that new heir to Guru.
Yeah.
So they're just have the original 7 there, and then that'll be it from here on in, possibly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I do like that they had to actually do a strategy to use those Dragon Balls, and like, you know, Kai came up with like using our dragon to wish their dragon back and stuff like that. That was good because everybody was freaking out. But then Kai says some such stupid things sometimes, which kind of like is like, are you smart or stupid? Because like he always is premature. But yeah, it's good for the tone of the show, making it more high stakes.
Yeah, and both dragons have unique value because the one from Namek, you have the 3 wishes, but you can't wish in like
more than one person.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas the one on Earth, you could wish in bulk. Yeah,
exactly. No, I think that's cool, but it's only one wish, so everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. I do think it was hilarious. First of all, how Gohan was scared to go home to finish because he didn't finish his homework. I love like that how it's like his mother is still pushing him to be that kind of scholar, which I'm team Gohan. Like, screw scholarship, screw studies, like, just be a fighter. But yeah, that was funny to me. And just so you guys know, when Krillin was wished back, you know, he was in his clothes, right? He wasn't naked like Vegeta is all the time.
Yeah, he was in his Saiyan clothes.
Yeah. So in the manga,
so was Vegeta when he was wished back on Namek.
No, yeah, no. I'm just joking around because Vegeta's shown naked a lot, but Vegeta's clothes weren't torn. With Frieza, he actually like tore Krillin's and his clothes apart. So in the manga, it actually says the dragon is like, and I returned his clothes for him free of charge, which I thought was interesting. It gave a little more personality to the dragon than we got in the anime.
Yeah, and the thing about the Gohan homework thing, yeah, I feel like it's silly to think about homework, and it's like you're trying to save the whole galaxy and shit. But I feel like that relates to the young viewers of Dragon Ball. So, I mean, like, that makes it, like,
it does.
Relatable.
It does, because, yeah, no matter what you do, your mom is going to be like, yo, you got to do your homework. Like, we know how important, like, that pressure to, like, do well in school can be in Asia. Like, we hear about it. So, yeah, I feel like that's humorous for a lot of people listening to that.
Yeah. There was a couple other funny moments too, like when they're talking about how the Namekians are super into golf at the end.
Oh yes, that was brought up in the comments too. Yeah, like how random was that?
Yeah, that was hilarious. There was one other moment too we kind of skipped over where Kai wants to communicate with Bulma about how Goku's dead, or he thinks he's dead. So he gets Yamcha to do it, and then Yamcha tells Bulma, and she's like, yeah, and Goku's dead too. Because she just assumes I could wish him back with a Dragon Ball.
And she's like, yo, Gohan, what are you doing?
I know, he's like, I could have communicated better than it. Was hilarious.
No, that was good.
We're so confused how she's just like nonchalantly saying, oh, and Goku's dead as well.
Yeah, no, that was hilarious. Pretty much, I think we're ready to wrap up. And you guys can interrupt me if you have any like final things you want to say about the arc. I guess Animac, let's hear your final thoughts, like encapsulating everything.
No, yeah, there was a lot of nostalgia in this, and yeah, I mean the recaps and stuff were a bit annoying, and you know we would switch to like King Kai talking to like Tien and stuff, and it's like, do we really care about this?
Poor
this
Tien.
Time? Or in Yamcha, but overall, I think it was great. You know, iconic, and it brought back some really, really good memories.
Nice. And you didn't go back to it and be like, why did I think this was cool?
No, I thought it was still cool.
Nice.
But like, would I say it compares to something like One Piece, which I just got up to? No, I wouldn't. I don't think it compares.
Interesting. It's so funny how you became a One Piece stan. That's so funny. I thought you'd mention like Death Note or something, but you actually mentioned another shonen. That's
yeah, but like
hilarious.
if you think about like One Piece has its moments where I'm like, oh, why is Luffy acting this way? But nothing as egregious as, you know, Dragon Ball.
Okay, fair enough. And yeah, One Piece is also great, Ray. Definitely something you should look into in the future. Remember, guys, we are doing next episode, episodes 108 to 125, covering Garlic Jr. and Trunks sagas, and chapters 136 to 142. Plus, I'm very excited. I don't think I've ever watched this. The 5th Dragon Ball Z movie called Cooler's Revenge. So it came out in 1991. I don't think I've ever watched it. I played the Cooler as a video game character, but I'm excited to see what happened like in the actual movie and the actual story with him. Super psyched about that. Remember that on all the podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, you can actually find our podcast by looking up the Dragon Ball Virgin. You can download full episodes, and we do this live on the Rant Cafe Twitch. Thank you again, Animac, for partaking in this one.
My pleasure, man. Thank you guys for having me.
And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys. Ray, you gotta say bang, bro.
Oh, I was expecting Animac to do it. I shouldn't have assumed.
Okay, let's try that again. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.
Bang!